こんにちは、永井恵美です。今からご覧になるビデオはアメリカで障害者、高齢者の方々がどのように携帯電話を使っているかということを撮影しました。テキサス大学文化人類学部サイエンステクノロジーソサエティのDoComoチーム、DoComo研究チームのビデオプロデュースになります。どうぞご覧ください。
I'm Professor Elizabeth Keating. I'm a faculty member at the University of Texas at Austin in anthropology. I'm also the director of the Science, Technology, and Society program at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm very grateful to have the support of DoComo to do this important research on how the blind, the deaf, and the elderly are using cell phone technologies. I've done previous research on new communication technologies, and I'm very interested in the role of language in constructing new cultural forms, and particularly the role of technology in facilitating communication and sharing communication in very new ways across space and across time zones. The project that we are in the process of completing now involves looking at members of the deaf community using cell phones and mobile phones, the members of the blind community using mobile phone technology, and members of the elderly community using mobile phone technologies. Each of these populations has very different needs in terms of mobility and communication, and they also have very different perceptive systems that they rely on for communication, and this impacts their mobile communication as well. We're finding some very interesting results based on what kinds of features on a mobile phone are important for these various different communities. I'm very fortunate at the University of Texas at Austin to have a deaf PhD student and a blind PhD student. So these are trained doctoral research assistants who are able to assist me on this project.
テキサス大学文化人類学専攻博士課程に通っております永井恵美です。私の博士論文のテーマはアメリカ、日本においてモバイルテクノロジーがどのような影響を社会に及ぼしているかということを研究しています。今回のアメリカ・テキサス州オースティン市におけます身体障害者、高齢者の方々の研究では、私は高齢者の方々のインタビューを、担当いたしました。アメリカと日本の社会の大きな差は、貧富の差がアメリカは激しいということです。例にとりますと、オースティンには I-35 というハイウェイが通っておりますけれども、I-35 の、イースト側、東側ですか、東側は、プアなコミュニティ、西側は、リッチな方々が住んでいるということになっております。そこで、リッチな、エリアにあるリタイアメントホームとプアなエリアにあるリタイアメントホーム、それからシニアアクティビティセンター、老人ホームですねに行って、インタビューしてきました。リッチなリタイアメントホームの方は日本でもいろいろあるので想像できると思いますけれども、プアなリタイアメントホームの方は、アメリカが経営しております。低所得者の方々、それから65歳以上、もしくは、身体障害者の方が住むことができます。とても混んでいて空きがないと入れない状態になっているみたいなんですけれども、そこで住む方々が、携帯電話を持っていること自体、少しお金が自由になるお金を持っている方々になるんですけれども、そういう方々のインタビューということになりました。そういう方々は年金で暮らしています。いろいろこのインタビューによってアメリカ社会における携帯電話、またモバイルテクノロジーについて分かったら嬉しいと思います。ありがとうございます。
I'm Neil Hatter. This is my guide dog, Adler, and I'm a doctoral student in anthropology here. And in 1998, I also received a master's degree in applied anthropology at another university. Since 1995, I've worked on a number of research projects related to disability and technology, the first of which was the WHO, World Health Organization, project to revise the international classification of impairments, disabilities, and handicaps. I've also worked on projects related to assistive technology, social incorporation for the disabled, and web usability technology, web usability testing, and I've done consulting and teaching in disability-related technology for about 12 years now. The biggest challenge in the data collection has also been the most interesting aspect of it for me. The blind people don't tend to associate with each other more than they would sighted people. Usually the blind community is mediated through government agencies and advocacy groups. So the big challenge was to find a way to do a social network analysis to find out where blind people get information about technology and what technology they were using, and to what extent that could be representative of a larger demographic. So my first step was to sort of map out disability or blindness related communities online on the web. So I found some sites that seemed to be hubs of community building in the blind community, and I joined maybe 10 to 20 email lists. We've been collecting about 1,000 emails a month from that list. Once I had determined sort of the information flow in the blindness community, my next step was to solicit telephone interviews from blind people really all around the world. I've done interviews with a blind Fulbright doctoral student in Hong Kong, and people who are at various ages and stages of employment around the country. Those interviews we followed up with focus groups, and I did one focus group for each of two different populations. The first is people who are just in the process of first learning mobility skills. They're all associated with the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. So that way we got a chance to talk with people who were maybe a little bit new to technology, didn't necessarily know what was out there, and didn't know quite what the issues were yet, and were just getting their skills up to speed. The second group was at the other end of that rehabilitation arc. They were all students at the university or staff members at the university. And so we got to see people. You'll see when you see the video of this, much stronger technology use. And the interesting thing about all of these, one of the factors that it points to is an issue of information awareness. Even the people at the very high end of that technology use pattern, they would say that they're very familiar with the technologies that are out there, like text-to-speech synthesis on their cell phones, things like that. Yet when we talked about specific products that were out there, they weren't familiar with them. So information dispersal, information access turns out to be a very interesting thing to look at how information flows through the blind population.
Hi, I'm Jilly Kowalski, and I'm a third-year student here at the University of Texas, or third-year PhD student at the University of Texas at Austin in linguistic anthropology. And I'm looking at deaf geography and cultural spaces. I'm looking at the changes in technology and the impact that that has on these spaces and the communities who use technology. The second paragraph in my dissertation will talk about the community that I have been researching for DoComo. And I'm looking at the deaf community specifically and asking them questions, deaf people and hard of hearing, which mostly deaf people, asking them questions about the cell phones that they use and their experiences with Sidekick 2. It's called a Sidekick Color. Sidekick Color 2, and this is the device. And the price is right. Just to give you an idea of what this device does, there's a keyboard which is similar to the old-fashioned TTY that deaf people use, but now they can have email and instant messaging capabilities going through a server, and I will explain more about this device in my report. I've been doing this type of research throughout the summer. I have interviewed deaf people at different sites, like a barbecue at a poolside, here on campus at the University of Texas, and different areas where I can show what students are, deaf people are, how they're using the device in action. So I have some videotape data, and I've also gone over to deaf people's homes and interviewed them in group settings. Many of them say that the Sidekick is very cool because it has the instant messaging and because the internet is very fast. The Sidekick 2, compared to the other phones, is a lot better because the other phones are slower and a lot of information might be missing, whereas that information is totally accessible when they use the Sidekick. And I'm enthusiasm in reaching my goal of collecting the information and understanding some of the general problems that are associated with the Sidekick. I know that the deaf community has been satisfied with the Sidekick 2 because of email, but there are some issues that are not yet resolved. One of those issues being how they might access 911 services. And so we would like to develop a master cell that the deaf community, the blind community, and senior citizen community and different populations could use, that one phone would satisfy the needs for all of these unique communities. And that's the goal for in the future, that a phone of that sort could be developed. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
ご覧になってくださいましてありがとうございました。楽しんでいただけましたでしょうか。サイエンステクノロジーソサエティの研究所のみんなは、ドコモの研究をとても楽しんでやることができました。どうもありがとうございました。